Today, I'm revealing the dirty secret of the writing industry that enables anyone to succeed as a professional writer, even if you have no experience writing and no understanding of how this industry works. You're not going to want to miss this. Welcome to another episode of the RN to Writer Show. I'm your host, Elizabeth Hanes. If we haven't met, let me just introduce myself briefly. I am a nurse, I'm an award-winning journalist, and I'm a former six-figure freelance writer. The only reason I'm a former six-figure freelance writer is because my side gig, RN to Writer, took off so much that I had to retire from actively writing just to run this company. And what we do here at RN to Writer is we help nurses and other healthcare professionals launch careers as freelance writers. It's like a hidden career path that they never tell you about in nursing school. So we're busting open the doors and telling everyone about it. And if you'd like to learn more and learn how to get started, please go to the description box and get our $5.90 ebook, Design Your Dream Career as a Nurse Writer. Tells you everything you know to get started. But let's get to this episode because I'm excited. One of the biggest questions I get from nurses and other healthcare pros who discover freelance writing is, I don't think I write well enough to do this. They're envisioning freelance writing as being something like constructing research articles or lengthy academic papers that require APA style and all this stuff. So your mind is going to be blown today when I show you exactly how not like that professional health writing is and how anyone can do this because all it requires is following directions. That's all it requires. The secret is actually content production templates or content templates. That's it. That's the secret. It's a tool that clients use to help writers, or I should say, guide and direct writers, exactly how to produce the content the client is requesting, because every client wants something different. Everything we do is bespoke. In other words, it's custom content for our clients. And so they have to give us instructions on what they want. So I'm going to today go over an actual content template that I received from a real client several years ago. I have removed all the identifying information from this to anonymize it, but honestly, this isn't terribly proprietary because I've received many content templates like this in the past from other clients. All right, let me show this to you. Here we are. So as you can see, this is a blog template that a client gave me because they wanted me to write a blog post. This is a 6-page document that gives me absolutely everything I need to write this content. Let's go through this almost section by section, although some of this I don't really need to go over because it's not relevant to what you will be doing as a health writer. So the first section of this template is about the page, about the website page this blog post is going to appear on. It tells who the content owner is inside the company. It has me as the content creator, and then it has the two people who are going to be editing and proofreading this blog post. So the first thing the client is telling me is the purpose of this blog post. Well, this is going to be a blog post on asthma care during the spring allergy season. So the purpose of this post is to support healthcare consumers who have asthma and are living through the spring pollen season. The content is going to be shared on social as well as posted to the blog on the website. The target audience, as I said, who is this for? The target audience, you need to know that before you write something. Well, it's for asthma patients taking care of themselves during allergy season. What is the goal of the page? The goal of the page for the reader is to follow the suggestions and feel supported by the client, which is a health system. User transaction, fancy term, you don't really need to understand that at this point. It's what they want the reader to do. They want the reader to stay connected to the health system, and by stay connected, they mean if they need care, they want them to make an appointment. So again, this is very explicit about what the client wants. They want to provide asthma patients with guidance on how to manage their asthma in a Q&A format, answering questions patients are likely to have. This is why nurses are so good at this, because we know the questions people are likely to have in this situation. Right? We don't really need to know about this. This is inside stuff for the client. What category of blog do they want in there? I'm going to jump over here to keywords. Again, you don't really need to know what keywords means. I'll just explain that these are words the client is providing. By the way, everything I've covered here, this is information the client is providing to me to write this assignment. This template came to me filled out like this. Keywords are simply words that the client wants me to work into the article in a natural way so that search engines will know how to categorize this blog post and will elevate it in the search results when people search on these terms. Now though, let's look at the page message, because that's important to us as a writer. This is saying, they're saying, what do they actually want this blog post to convey, and how do they want it conveyed? Well, they want this conveyed in the inverted pyramid style, which again, you don't need to know that. It's because it's going to be explained here in a second. But we do teach this in our Get Paid Well to Write program if you're interested. Inverted pyramid simply means they want the most important information at the top, preferably in the first paragraph, so that if people are short of time, they're just scanning, they're only briefly looking at the blog post, they can at least take away the main point of the blog post. That's all that means. They want the page message to go like this. People with underlying medical conditions like asthma may be at higher risk for complications during allergy season, so it's especially important for this population to keep themselves healthy. It's basically the message they want at the top, they want me to put at the top of the piece. Secondly, asthma patients should follow their action plan. This is the second point they want me to make in the blog post. And they even give me a link to this template that's the action plan, the asthma action plan they want me to reference. I didn't even have to look this up. The client gave it to me. The third point they want me to cover is patients with asthma shouldn't stop their prescribed corticosteroid inhaler in allergy season. The fourth point they want me to cover is they want the reader to pay special attention to how they're feeling, and they want them to avoid asthma triggers. And the fifth point is they want me to convey that the reader should contact their doctor if they're having asthma symptoms during pollen season. So you can see here, this is basically a 5-paragraph structure. Again, this is what we teach at RN to Write, our 5-paragraph structure. And so now you have your action plan right here for how to write this. But maybe you're thinking, what about sources though? Good question. We're going to get to that in a second. Content review and approval, we don't need to go over that. That's all specific to the client. Let's jump to metadata and settings. Maybe you're now going, oh no, I don't know. What does metadata even mean? Well, notice that it does say you, the content creator, need to fill out all the fields except the image, right? So if you are going, I don't know what metadata means, well, the first thing I would say is Google it. get a little understanding of what that means. It's very common in the content writing field. But basically, I can tell you right now, metadata simply means what is the URL going to be? In other words, in the browser bar, what's the path that's going to show up in the browser bar? What is the browser title? And it tells you here, keep it within 50 to 60 characters, including spaces, include the keywords, and I removed this, but they wanted the name of the health system appended to the end. So even if you don't know what metadata is, it gives you the instructions of what to write right here. So I suggested to them this browser title. That's what's going to show up here at the top of the browser when they click the link. Meets all the requirements that they stated, so it should be good. Meta description, again, even if you didn't know what that was, but I'll tell you what it is. It's the description that shows up when the search results come up in a search engine. Gives the page name and it gives a little description, right? But even if you didn't know, it just says here, keep within 160 characters. So you might be thinking, okay, maybe a page description goes here. So we put that in, 160 characters. Now, a point I want to make, though, because it's important, because this is one major way the writing industry differs from healthcare. If you just didn't know what meta description meant and you had made some effort to figure it out, but you still didn't quite understand how it applies in this context, then what you should do is ask your editor. They are not going to bite your head off if you say, I don't know exactly what you want me to put here. Can you help me? They're not going to fire you. They're not going to laugh. Because content production is collaborative. Content production, we get these type of instructions that I'm showing you from the client. We write a draft. We send it to them. They make suggestions and edits for improving it. We accept or not those suggestions and edits, we send it back. That process might go on multiple times. That is perfectly normal. It doesn't mean you're a terrible writer if your stuff comes back with edits. Everybody gets edited, everybody. But anyway, back to the content template. We're going to suggest the type of blog this is, what service line basically does it go under. Author name, now look, this is interesting. This is going to actually be ghostwritten for one of their nurse practitioners. So we're going to write this, but when it shows up on the page, it's going to say, by Elliot, last name, CRNP, nurse practitioner at the health system. In case you were wondering, when you see these blog posts and stuff that say by and it's a nurse practitioner, a physician, whatever, and you think, wow, they're writing blog posts. Oh, no, they're not. Those are ghostwritten. Okay, they want us to create a teaser summary of 185 characters. So we did that. Here's a little teaser summary. We don't need to do the recommended image. No problem. So good. See how easy this is so far? Now we get to the on-page content. This is the fun part. This is the actual blog post, in case you don't know. The on-page content, it's the actual blog post. The content creator writes the headline, the subtitle, the body copy, and the helpful resources. Woohoo! Here we go. Okay, so this is the title I gave them. It has all the keywords in it. This is the subtitle I gave them. Looks good. The body copy. Now, remember that I said earlier, maybe you're saying, what about sources though? How do I source this? Well, all of this information came to me from the client. Use the resources below to craft an understanding type blog article that covers frequently asked questions or Q&As that an asthma patient would have during the allergy season. I never worked specifically with asthma patients. I just used my common nursing sense to think through what a typical patient would probably be asking me. Again, this is coming from the client. This is how I received the template. This will be from the point of view of Elliot. She or he specializes in asthma and COPD. We want to divide the content into subheader questions. See how specific this is? Okay, so we want sections of max of 2 paragraphs that they can scan. We want bullets and lists. We want an intro paragraph and a brief conclusion. Look, they even gave me sources. Here we go. They gave me 2. They just want 2 sources for this because it's not very long. And then they gave me also examples on their own website of other blogs in the type they're asking me to write so that I could go review these to have maximum understanding of what they're looking for. I can basically just copy the exact format of these other blogs. If you got a little strange feeling when I said I can copy the format of these blogs, like, isn't that plagiarism? No, it is not. Formatting is not exactly copyrightable to begin with, but secondly, this is custom content for the client. We are here to deliver exactly what the client is asking us to deliver. The search engines love structure. They love articles structured the same way on a website. So that's why the client is asking me to look at these other examples and just basically follow those examples. Now, we do the actual writing. I would not do it in this template. I would do it in a Word document and paste it in here, but we do it exactly what they said. We roll back up, we do our introduction and our first paragraph. We do a subhead, we do paragraph 2. We're just really looking back up here. Remember this section? Page message. This is what we're going to now go write, those 5 points. We're going to write this in the body copy area. How simple is that? Notice, I'll just keep scrolling. Helpful resources. I never filled those in, so I don't know if they told me they decided they didn't want any or they were going to handle it or what. All of this other stuff doesn't even belong to you. This is the content owner, so we don't even need to look at that. Now, come on. How simple is that? Even if you had no understanding of how the writing industry works, even if you had no understanding or felt like, I don't know how to write well in APA style or AMA style, or I'm not sure how to write an article for a client, how can you fail at this? It's impossible. It's impossible. Because they gave you the entire outline right here. Write a paragraph about this and a paragraph about that and blah, blah, blah. Come on. Are you telling me you wouldn't be able to do that? Of course you would be able to do that. This is very similar to writing a SOAP note or something where we have a structure. We're told exactly which points to cover and in what order to cover them. They just want our prose. And then there was a part about also answering questions that patients might have because we're nurses. They're not in healthcare, our clients. They have marketing degrees and stuff like that. They may never have worked inside healthcare, so they have a zero understanding of what a patient might ask, whether it's asthma care during pollen season or whether it's women's health. They don't know. So they want our knowledge and expertise. As you can see, you do not have to be an expert writer. You do not have to be Hemingway. You just have to be able to fill in the blanks. I call this paint by number typewriting because the client is giving you the outline and has even filled in the numbers of the colors to paint in each section. And then you just go to your little box and you paint your words in there that follow all the instructions. And you know what? Nurses are great at following directions and doing procedures in a particular order, right? That's another reason why this type of writing makes such a great career for nurses. So I hope, having seen this, that your mind is going, "Phew, I definitely could do that. I had no idea how easy it is." Honestly, it's kind of embarrassingly easy. Yeah. So I hope you're having this moment where you're going, oh my gosh, yeah, now that I know, most clients or many clients are going to give you these templates. Not all, to be fair. Don't want to mislead anyone. Some clients we're going to have to make it up a little more with whole cloth. But many, many clients are going to have templates like this. So if you're now thinking, oh, heck, I can totally do this, please head to the description box, grab our ebook, Design Your Dream Career as a Nurse Writer, because it's going to fill in more of the information about what freelance writing is, how this industry works, how to set up a business in this industry, and how to get started. It really is all you need to launch a writing business as a health writer. If you have any questions, you can always hit us up. Our fabulous care team is always here to help you at hello@rn2writer.com. Meanwhile, thank you for watching this video. Tell us in the comments what you thought, what your impression of professional writing is now, and whether you think you can do it. And I'll see you on the next episode of the RN to Writer Show.